Today is November 10th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today, out of the Big Book, we're going to continue Chapter 8, Two Wives. We'll be reading the first half of page 117. At 12 and 12, we'll continue Tradition 3 by reading page 141. And of course, we'll read today's 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. Once again, we have a clean slate. We woke up, got a new set of 24 hours ahead of us, a chance to live an honest life of integrity. That gives me a big old smile on my face today, along with my Star Wars cup of coffee. So let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. Out of the Big Book, we're on Chapter 8, Two Wives. We'll be reading the first two paragraphs of page 117. If you and your husband find a solution for the pressing problem of drink, you are, of course, going to be very happy. But all problems will not be solved at once. Seed has started to sprout in a new soil, but growth has only begun. In spite of your newfound happiness, there will be ups and downs. Many of the old problems will still be with you. This is as it should be. The faith and sincerity of both you and your husband will be put to the test. These workouts should be regarded as part of your education, for thus you'll be learning to live. You will make mistakes, but if you are in earnest, they will not drag you down. Instead, you will capitalize them. A better way of life will emerge when they are overcome. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on tradition number 3. The only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. Page 141. Why did AA finally drop all of its membership regulations? Why did we leave it to each newcomer to decide for himself whether he was an alcoholic or whether he should join us? Why do we dare to say, contrary to the experience of society and government everywhere, that we would neither punish nor deprive any AA of membership, that we must never compel anyone to pay anything, believe anything, or conform to anything? The answer, now seen in Tradition 3, was simplicity itself. At last, experience taught us that to take away any alcoholic's full chance was sometimes to pronounce his death sentence, and often to condemn him to endless misery. Who dared to be judge, jury, and executioner of his own sick brother? As group after group saw these possibilities, they finally abandoned all membership regulations. One dramatic experience after another clinched this determination until it became our universal tradition. Here are two examples. On the AA calendar, it was year 2. In that time, nothing could be seen but two struggling, nameless groups of alcoholics trying to hold their faces up to the light. A newcomer appeared at one of these groups, knocked on the door, and asked to be let in. He talked frankly with the group's oldest member. He soon proved that his was a desperate case, and that above all, he wanted to get well. But, he asked, will you let me join your group? Since I am the victim of another addiction even worse stigmatized than alcoholism. You may not want me among you. Or will you? "24 hours a day, November 10th. AA thought for the day. I am less self-centered. The world used to revolve around me at its center. I cared more about myself, my own needs and desires, my own pleasure, my own way than I did about the whole rest of the world. What happened to me was more important than anything else that I could think of. I was selfishly trying to be happy, and therefore I was unhappy most of the time. I have found that selfishly seeking pleasure does not bring true happiness. Thinking of myself all the time cut me off from the best in life. AA taught me to care less about myself and more about the other person. Am I less self-centered? Meditation for the day. When something happens to upset you and you are discouraged, try to feel that life's difficulties and troubles are not intended to arrest your progress in the spiritual life, but to test your strength and increase your determination to keep going. Whatever it is that must be met, you are to either overcome it or use it. Nothing should daunt you for long, nor should any difficulty entirely overcome or conquer you. God's strength will always be there, waiting for you to use it. Nothing can be too great to be overcome, or if not overcome, then used. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may know that there can be no failure with God. I pray that with His help, I may live a more victorious life. Daily Reflection, November 10th. A sense of belonging. Perhaps one of the greatest rewards of meditation and prayer is the sense of belonging that comes to us. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 105. That's what it is. Belonging. After a session of meditation, I knew that the feeling I was experiencing was a sense of belonging because I was so relaxed. I felt quieter inside, more willing to discard little irritations. I appreciated my sense of humor. What I also experience in my daily practice is the sheer pleasure of belonging to the creative flow of God's world. How propitious of us that prayer and meditation are written right into our AA way of life. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. And man, oh man, that 24 hours a day just nails me to a T today. Oh. I've said it many times, but talking about self-centeredness, oh boy, that was one I wrestled with a lot. But for me, most of the time it was, what do they call it? Egomaniac with an inferiority complex, right? Most of the time when I was self-centered, it was usually negative. And I won't psychoanalyze or waste any time with that, but I will say that I really wrestled with negative self-talk for years. And because, I'm talking about myself negatively with all these thoughts, I wasn't thinking about anybody else at all. So attending certain fellowships forced me to take that personal inventory, to get to the root causes of some of these things, why I do the things I do, and to realize that perception is reality. But when you can crush those old lies, like I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, all these things, I'm not smart enough, whatever it is, with truth, that takes care of a lot of the fear. And then when you reframe a failure, just as it says here today in the meditation, when something happens to upset you and you're discouraged, try to feel that life's difficulties and troubles are not intended to arrest your progress in the spiritual life, but to test your strength and increase your determination to keep going. It's a little further down. God's strength will always be there waiting for you to use it. Nothing can be too great to be overcome. Or if not overcome, then used. I actually heard this recently. Never let a failure go to waste. There's always something positive that can come from it. If I look back at every failure that I've made in my life, there can be some positives that can come from it. Powerful lessons to be learned. Maybe it exposes a certain insecurity that I never prayed about. But the point I'm trying to make is, the steps help me with the inventory part of this, the root causes of this. And then finally, it changes my heart. The steps do. It changes my heart to where I forgive myself. And once I can forgive myself and love myself, then I can learn to love others. And then when I start helping others, I feel better about myself. Go figure, right? So man, I love this reading today, but that's enough of my rambling for one day. I hope you all have a great one. Please know, as always, I don't speak on behalf of AA or NA or Al-Anon, any other sect. I am just a guy reading these books, and I am grateful to be here. If we're given another set of 24 hours, my friends, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.